Yeah, great win for our program, great win for our team. Couldn't be more proud of you guys. They, from day one, we've obviously had huge goals and expectations, and this was one of the steps that are necessary. Like I told them on the field, enjoy the moment, soak it in. It's not easy to make the NCAA tournament. It's also not easy to win games in the NCAA tournament, and it really isn't easy to have running time against a very good team. So that just speaks, who we are, the type of program we are. And I think we got a chip on our shoulder. I think we were seeded wrong, and we're every step of the way we're here to just do what we do. We're blocking out the noise. We don't care what our name says on a piece of paper. We're just going to win every game we can. And this group, I'm proud. We haven't played a game in a long time, and I think you could see a little bit of rust in that first half, but the effort was through the roof. In the second half, I think the country got a chance to see what the real Stony Brook team looks like. A 9-0 second half. It's a big time effort.
Thanks, Coach. As a reminder, questions will be directed to student athletes first. Just state your name, publication, once before asking your question. Owen, we'll begin with you.
Okay. Owen with Newsday. Ellie Big. Second half as a team, obviously, scored in like the first minute or something like that. How big was that, do you think, just to get off that bad start to open up the third?
Yeah, I think our effort in the second half was, again, like you said, right under the minute. And I think after that, it kind of we skyrocketed and we built off of that. And it's a team effort, and I was really proud of us.
How does that just really show, maybe, when everything's clicking, how good this offense can be?
Sorry, say it again.
Just to outscore them 9-0 in the second half, how does that really show when this offense is clicking, how good you guys can really be?
I think the first half was kind of rusty, and then we got together and we ended up winning the draws, and that was a big factor in our offense. And yeah, it was just clicking in the second half.
Claire, and then defensively also, just kind of how much did you guys maybe take it upon yourself to maybe clamp down in that second half also?
Well, in the first half, since we weren't really getting the draws at first, we knew that defense had to be the lock of it. We had to get it clears for the offense to start going. But with the second half, once we got draws, we knew that if they were going to do their part on offensively, we needed to do our part defensively. We had to shut them down.
Right, and just playing in these tournament atmospheres, just how has that really gotten you guys ready for this part of the season also?
Tournament time is different energy for every team. It can be anyone's game. And since we didn't have the playoff week like everyone else had before us, we knew that our competition within practice had to be just the same as it would have been within a championship game. So coming into this week, we knew that our energy had to be top tier. And we had to go all in.
Kailyn, you had that tough play in the second quarter. What happened on that play, and what motivated you to get back in right away?
On that play, I was just going into dodge, and the girl's stick went right into my nose, and I didn't want to come off the field, but obviously there was blood. But when getting on the field, it kind of just lit a fire under my butt. I had to go out there. If anyone else was gonna get hit, another one of my teammates, I would have done the same thing for them. And no one hits one of us. We come right back at you.
And what was your reaction? You get taken out, and just seeing Jessie Arline come in and have an assist at a huge moment like that. What was your reaction to that?
She's great. She's awesome. Everyone off the bench. There's no letdown. We all are on the same level, and anyone who would go out there for me would do the same thing. And we all work so hard, and I would expect nothing less from her.
Ellie, just 5 goals obviously in a game like this. I know you've had a great season also. Did you kind of take it upon yourself just to try to bring your game up to that next level now in tournament time?
Yeah, I think our whole team brought our effort up, and I think it didn't really matter who scored. I ended up with 5, but Hart ended up with 4. I think it didn't really matter who scored. I just ended up being at the end of the rainbow, as everyone says.
Okay. Questions for Coach Spallina? I'll start with Owen.
Just obviously just coming out in the second half. Is there anything you guys talked about at halftime, or just what really led?
We talked about a lot at halftime. Now, what I think honestly the effort was there. We hit a lot of pipes in the first half. I think the biggest thing for me, it's this group is so effective at just being able to not needed shock therapy. I think they can handle it. We had real conversations about things we were looking for, challenge a few of our players Thought they were capable of a little bit more. Some of our seniors, we just had to be us. We had to be a little bit more efficient. I think controlling the draw was big because it was make it take it for us, and then we got able to get on that run. And we knew the first couple goals of the second half. We're really good coming out of the room, so our players handled that really well. And it's I think you just saw some of the rust fall off in the first half. It was nothing that we were doing wrong, and it was nothing that they were doing that offset us. We were just unlucky shooters. I thought their goalie was hot early. We keep our composure. These three here are young. They got a lot of years left to play here, and they grew up a lot last year in the NCAA tournament. And I was excited. I knew all three of these guys have popped off this entire season, but it's great to see them be able to do it in the NCAA tournament as well. Our job as a coach is just to get dot I's, cross T's at half, get an even keel, get them to relax. At the end of the day, if it comes down to lacrosse, we're fine. So we just couldn't let the ebb and flow and emotions get in the way of anything, and just kind of be the best version of Stony Brook.
Paul?
Thoughts on Charlie Campbell in the cage today? Your thoughts on how she played a role in how you guys limited their offense?
I honestly, our defense was incredible, and I'm going to talk about Charlie in a second. So I'm not. Charlie was awesome, right? But I think our defense, we held them to 20 shots in the game, which is a little higher than we normally do. But at the end of the day, the shots that they were getting were not shots those shots we want them to have. I thought my assistant coach Greg Michelli did a fantastic job of preparing our defense for the different looks. Our scout offense, and a lot of those guys didn't get in the game today, but you don't win without a good scout offense. So, and our kids crushed it all week. So couldn't be more proud of those guys. And Charlie was great. She was great. She had 9 saves, let in 4, and she had 5 saves in the second half. That's what you want. You want steady Eddie. We have both goalies. They're both fantastic. Trust both of them. We go back and forth with who starts. Kind of trust in my gut. And but Charlie was outstanding today. And I think at the end of the day, you want to be good in the playoffs. It starts with your goalie. Obviously the draws and goalie play is huge. And I thought Charlie answered the bell today.
Back to Owen.
Do you think that second half is kind of more indicative of you guys as a team than that first half?
Yeah, we haven't been challenged in a while. Even in the last game we played, we played a conference opponent that it was a running time game, but it was much different of a running time game than you saw today. So, and then before that, our last test was probably Yale. I don't think we handled it well. So we had like a lull where we played multiple conference games in a row, and we lost a little bit of our edge. So it's not often, in my position, to have a week and a half, 2 weeks to just do what I do and do what we do and get after it and really, practice the right way as opposed to preparing for somebody. So it was so cool to just not have to worry about who we were playing and just worry about us. And we challenge them every day. And these guys, this is a different group here. It's just different. The intensity levels in practice. We had a plan. We had GPS monitors. We were monitoring mileage all week, high days, low days. And the one thing I never have to check is the intensity. They're putting each other on their rear ends in practice. They're challenging each other to the point where you almost got to pull back a little bit. But that's our identity. So I don't ever want that to change. As long as I'm here doing what I'm doing here, that will be the number one. That'll be our DNA of our program.
Paul? You good? Owen?
Just as a program, just kind of how big is just you think having the previous NCAA tournament experience just to help you guys maybe play your best at this point in the year?
Well, our 5th year is our 4th. Our older kids have seen it a lot. I talked about last year. I remember sitting down at the end of the season with our athletic director, and I said, these games at the end, these extra games, the way we had North Carolina on the ropes, that was so big for these players because these guys had scars. And, I always talk about scars, and it's like a reminder of a battle you survived. And those guys, they felt it. And I'll tell you, these guys, they had great seasons last year. Ellie would be the first one to tell you last year was a big-time roller coaster ride, and it was games she didn't even touch the field. And then as the season went on, you could see just, remember the seniors didn't have senior year, and the freshmen last year didn't have a senior year for COVID. They came into no fall ball, and then there they are thrust into a national schedule, and they were shell-shocked. And then little by little, as the year went on, Ellie finished with a hat trick against North Carolina. First time she couldn't catch. We played North Carolina first game, last game, and just goes to show you the growth and the progression. And those are big. Those are huge. And I think it's funny because, even just looking forward to Sunday, these guys don't get nervous. there's a bunch of flatliners. Like I don't ever have to worry about nerves or them being shook, and we try to emulate all that stuff in practice. But we had a good idea that we thought there was a chance we would see Rutgers. We thought we'd see Rutgers as the 7th seed, but we're the 8th, and Rutgers is unranked, which we were surprised about too. But we pre-scouted. It's funny because we thought there would be a similar bracket last year, and it almost is. Right? Drexel played Rutgers last year, and then we played Towson. It was almost very, very similar, eerily similar. So now we'll watch these two teams play each other, and we have a ton of respect for both teams. Honestly, I've watched way more Rutgers than St. Joseph's, but St. Joseph's is a great team. They got really hot at the end of the year, and it's always about how you're playing at the end.
And Ellie, all season kind of taking her game up to that next level. How have you seen her improve over the season, and then to have a game like this? Also?
We've always had a Batman and Robin in this program as long as I've been here, whether it be Murph and Kai or Tio and AK. We have that with these two. They're special athletes, both of them. Every game, whoever we're playing is doing all they could do to prepare for these two. And it don't matter. Like, they produce. And, and that's a testament to them. I think we've had, some rough days together, but at the end of the day, they don't have to question if coach has their back. And I love that. Like, they don't ever, the loyalty with these guys is beyond. And, and even Clare last year, our first game, we talk about it all the time, was against North Carolina. At North Carolina, she couldn't feel her hand. She got yard sailed the first play of the game, or stick went flying. And now I know you're hard pressed to find a better overall defender in the country anywhere, and I put my name on that. So, but I love these three. I brought the extra chair in here on purpose because these three deserve to be in front of the media and talking about what great players they are.
Awesome, all good. Thank you so much. Best
All
of luck
right.
on Sunday.